What is up, folks?
Hey guys, it is Scotch for Dummies.
4 guys on American Single Malt journey to help
Yeah,
you
we
with
are.
your single malt purchase.
Pretty exciting.
That's correct.
Heading to Virginia. We are heading to Virginia. And why? To celebrate that. American Single Malt from Virginia Distilling Company, our first cask selection from the distillery. As you can see, it is now in the bottle, and it will be released to our patrons here in the very near future, probably within the week.
60.7% ABV.
Yes.
Ex-bourbon cask. This is Virginia Distilling's distillate in an ex-bourbon cask, and it is fantastic.
So what was the story behind how we got to this bottle, Mark?
Well, it goes back to our first bottle with a different distillery. It was our very first bottle, and we got sidelined, and we got caught off guard and selected a cask that was delicious. But it was a chocolate malt, caught us all off guard, had to do it. So when we got to Virginia, we kind of gave them a profile and said, look, we just want a clean American Single Malt. We want to show our patrons and our subscribers what American Single Malt can taste like at its core. No fancy finishes. Just give us good whiskey, ex-bourbon cask, and let's go from there. And their master blender, Amanda, was stoked that we chose to do that because it gave her an opportunity to showcase their goods.
So our process of picking this bottle was blind samples. We got 4 or 5 samples from the distillery. We went through them blind. We didn't know the casking. We didn't know the age or any of that kind of stuff. We just went through and picked our favorite, and we all lined up, and this was the bottle that came out of that.
It doesn't have a custom label per se. We do have a Scotch for Dummies sticker that matches our coins on the back, and there is a magnetic coin that comes on the front of the bottle that's got S4D on it, so that's kind of cool. Good news about that is it helped keep the price down for our patrons, and I think they're going to be really excited when they find out what that is.
So super excited about this bottle pick of ours, but we're going to drink some with you and share what we're getting right now so you can enjoy it. Hopefully, as a patron, you can enjoy it with us as well.
Let's dive in,
So
boys.
let's dive into the nose. Oh, man.
So there's bright sweetness. It's really a bright whiskey.
It is very bright. And you know what? For 60.7, it's not...
It's approachable.
I get the heat on the nose, but it's not
A little
overpowering. It's much more sweet and fruity.
Man, there's honeydew, there's caramel, there's toffee, a bit of butterscotch.
A little bit of apple too. Just a
A little bit of apple.
I got butterscotch and apple.
Yeah.
Actually, I got butterscotch first, and then the apple came in, so that was the right order.
Honeysuckle.
Yep. Yeah.
It's all those like spring flowers type stuff, right?
Yeah, that's true too.
Yes. You guys ready for the palate?
Let's go to a
Heck
palate.
yeah.
Let's do it. Mm-hmm. Hello, lover.
Definitely warmer on the palate.
A little bit.
It's not too bad. I get the malt though. Like the fruit and the honey and stuff is there, but there's a really nice malt backbone to this whiskey.
It does.
Yep. Comes out really hard in the finish. The finish just shows you that was there throughout the whole.
Yeah. It's a nice long finish too. Like sometimes with lighter whiskeys, especially if there's no finishing, the whiskey is kind of short-lived on the finish, and this one just kind of hangs in there for a while.
I would agree. That malt, for me, I was getting a lot. And it's not linen, but it's a real light wood, like almost balsa wood palate on the initial palate. But then it runs into that maltiness, comes up in the finish for me.
Yeah, it's got that caramel toffee you want to have in there, but it's got some nice soft bananas and some other things, spices that's going on.
Bananas, that's the word.
Very approachable for being cask strength. And I was contemplating not saying this, but I will say this is almost like an old Pulteney for me. It's so malty. It's very potent on that malty finish, and I really love that about what this is doing in this distillery. It's so good, malt forward.
You know what's awesome about this one? Usually when you take that first sip, you get a lot of flavor and aroma. And then by the second sip, you've kind of gotten used to the whiskey and you don't get it quite as much. The second sip for me on this one was even bigger than the first. There's just more of everything on the palate.
What characteristics of this whiskey do you think is based on the casking and ex-bourbon cask?
I think that woody note is definitely, obviously. I do get a little bit of vanilla, but it's not a strong flavor on this. So, I mean, that would be American oak.
Yeah, it's definitely not an old cask.
But I think that the flavor and character of the actual new make comes through really nice in this whiskey. You get all those fruity notes that I would associate with melon and honey and flowers, and it's just a really nice whiskey.
I cannot believe how tropical this is. I mean, just the fruitiness of it with bananas and melons, honeydews, and other things coming out. Banana, it's so freaking good. It's soft, it's subtle. The balance is perfect for what it's giving, and the sweetness is right up front.
Putting water on it has changed the nose for me. And so fresh, neat out of the first nose, it was really bright, and there was some apple and some fruitiness forward. I put pretty good little amount of water on it, coming at 60.7. I can afford it. And now it's even more malty. I'm starting to get those oak notes. Who said cedar? I get a little bit of that coming out now with the water. So the nose did evolve with water, but it's a good evolution. It's like, damn, yeah, I want to get in there. I want more of that.
I got chocolate that time around. I put water on it, and it's got a chocolate note to it now.
Give you
it's
that.
interesting.
Hint of it.
Yeah.
Boys, this is a good one.
Yeah. It's a nice whiskey.
All the things we said, I would say it's complex.
Yeah. It's a really well put together whiskey for the fact that it is a lighter style. It's got a lot of different flavor components and a lot of stuff on the nose to kind of keep you going back. I like the high ABV, so you can kind of mess around with it with water, because you and I are getting different flavors, and I'm sure it's a different ABV in the glass. So I enjoy a whiskey that you can kind of mess around with and find the level that works for you.
And I feel comfortable doing that with our patrons. Our patrons are whiskey lovers. We'll give them more whiskey in their whiskey and let them get it to where they want it. They're going to have a lot of fun with it. It's enjoyable at various levels. I think we've enjoyed it neat. We've enjoyed it with water and all that good stuff. I'm super stoked. I really think Virginia Distilling hit the nail on the head with what we asked them to do. So this was a winner for us, and we're excited to share with our patrons. Hope you're a patron so you can get your hands on a bottle. Bottles should be coming out available online within a week. It might be the end of this week, but
So late February 2025, right?
yeah, and a trip to Virginia Distilling Company to celebrate it and maybe pick another cask.
That's right.
So if you're not a patron, become one.
It's time to be one.
It's time to be one.
Gentlemen, awesome job on this pick. And Virginia Distilling, thank you.
Home run.
Cheers.